So with X-Men Apocalypse less than a month away, I decided to do kind of a redux of one of my non-comic lineups, and yeah, that being Four Horsemen of Apocalypse. So, yeah, as before, this is just my personal team. If you think a character should be on here or not, that's totally fine. I'm always excited to see who you guys would make as a non-comic lineup, basically using anything outside of, Marvel, DC, and Image and all that. Manga characters are cool. But yeah, this would be like, what if Apocalypse could make these four characters into his Horsemen? And yeah, let's get into this, starting with, of course, you can see, kicking it off as Death herself, Lord Dominator. Dominator would definitely make an excellent Death, because literally, she brings nothing but death and destruction to the galaxy itself, so it would stand to reason that Apocalypse would look at her and see her power set and be like, oh yeah, I'm making you my new Horseman of Death. Now, the big question is, would Dominator be willing to be subservient to somebody? I don't know. Apocalypse has a tendency to mind control his Horsemen good enough, but sometimes they usually tend to turn against him. So that's going to be the interesting thing, is that Dominator may be a little more unstable than what Apocalypse may have planned. But if he gets it right, he would have literally, like I said earlier, a bringer of death at his command that he would just turn on everybody. Yeah, a woman who can control lava and ice powers, as well as have superhuman strength, incredible intelligence, and a nearly invincible armor. Yeah, probably that probably reaches every little checklist Apocalypse has for his Horseman resume. So absolutely, Lord Dominator as Death. So next up, we have Pestilence, and for the new Horseman of Pestilence is Naraku from Inuyasha. Yeah, Naraku from Inuyasha would be totally Pestilence, because the dude's literally made out of a fucking swarm of bug demons, as well as any other demon you could think of. Like Dominator, he's going to be a little harder to control. Naraku's going to be a tad uncontrollable, because he is used to being his own master. But I think Apocalypse could keep him on a leash and turn him on his opponents when he saw fit. But could you imagine the power set, not just with Naraku, but with Dominator as well, if their powers were amplified when they became Apocalypse's Horsemen? That would just be nothing but devastating, now wouldn't it? These guys would be, these two are powerful on their own, and I would imagine these two out of the four, Death and Pestilence would probably be the two big powerhouses, because obviously they were powerhouses to begin with. You've amplified their powers, and boom, you've got some really dangerous opponents you're dealing with here. But Naraku is incredibly intelligent. Literally his body's made out of thousands of demons. He is nearly unkillable, and yeah, like I said, he brings nothing but pestilence to the earth. So I think it would stand to reason that that Apocalypse would look at him and go like, yeah, you're Pestilence now. So next up on the list, we have, of course, War. And who is War? Jasper is the new War. This makes so much sense, it's not even funny. Jasper being the Horseman of War makes a lot of sense. She was literally bred for war. That's her whole purpose, is to be a soldier unit. That's her whole purpose of being a gem, is to fight and kill her opponents brutally. So Apocalypse would look at this gem who was bred for brutality, just complete loyalty. Let's not forget that they were bred also for loyalty and for maximum efficiency. Apocalypse would look at this, gem and see just the kind of malice and rage and just more or less like a wild animal, really, and just look at Jasper and be like, she's perfect for being my new Horseman of War. Jasper would be devastating on the battlefield. Gems are powerful they're powerful enough as it is. Could you imagine what if Apocalypse could amplify the power of a gem with the abilities he has and gives them to Jasper to make her the new Horseman of War? I shudder to think what that would be like if if he got a hold of Jasper and made her into the new new Horseman of War. But yeah, that's the thing, is that I think unlike Naraku and Dominator, she'd be a little more easier to control, and like I said before, the Jaspers were apparently meant to be these big, brooding, and loyal soldiers, similar to like what Amethyst was supposed to be. So yeah, Jasper's kind of like a more, an upgraded version of Amethyst, so it would stand to reason that her loyalty, if he mind-controlled her loyalty would solely be to Apocalypse. So, again, a little more easier to control than Dominator and Naraku, but still, she would just be like a merciless killing machine on the battlefield, and I shudder I feel bad for anyone who comes in her way, because you're not gonna have a good time. Just saying, you're gonna die horribly. But anyway, so let's move on to the final Horseman. And for Famine, we have Saren from Mass Effect. Yep, already a puppet to the Reapers, now he can be a puppet to Apocalypse. Saren's an incredible, dangerous opponent, and I know what you're thinking. Well, why did you pick him as Famine? It's not like with the other. This one was more like, just cause. This was kind of the thought process because I had a good reason for Naraku, Jasper, and Dominator being Horsemen, and why I chose them to be Horsemen. With Saren, I was just like, just cause. I think Saren's awesome, so sorry. Anyway, so Saren as Famine, could you imagine that? He was already pretty dangerous as a Spectre, and you gave him powers of the Reapers. Not to mention he already had some bio implants as well. You mixed all of that abilities and powers to Apocalypse's abilities, and the upgrades Apocalypse could give him. Then Saren would be a nearly unstoppable soldier, incredibly intelligent, dangerous, and loyal, just like with Jasper. I think they were, Saren would also be would have enough mind control in him. I think he if he was reprogrammed by Apocalypse, I think he would be equally as loyal and easier to control, just like Jasper would be. But he would be dangerous on the battlefield. He would be all those enhancements from Apocalypse as well as the Reapers. Yeah, he would be a major powerhouse at this point, as well as, he's got military training and would probably be the one leading the armies. I could have easily made Saren War, now that I think about it, but I feel like Jasper felt a little more had a few more qualifications, because Saren's a little more, he works in the shadows, so that would be that was kind of the determining factor, because war, Jasper's was bred for war, whereas Saren was trained for espionage. But anyway, so yeah, guys, that's the list. Those are the new 4 Horsemen of the non-comic apocalypse. I could have worded that better. Yeah, so so you guys tell me, who would you have as what non-comic characters? Keep that in mind. No characters from comics. Manga's okay. From outside of comic books, would you make Apocalypse's new 4 Horsemen? Who would you have as War, Death, Pestilence, and Famine? Just comment below, let me know. And once again, hope you all enjoyed this. And this was just my personal list. If you think a character should be on here or not, that's totally fine. No ill will against you. This is just for a lot of fun, and I'm always excited to see who you guys would have on your lists. Anyway, once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later.